नमस्ते दीदी।
जी नमस्ते।
नमस्ते दीदी।
Hello,
नमस्ते सभी।
welcome. Namaste everybody. जी नमस्ते मिस्टर खान भैया, नमस्ते सुमला दीदी, वेलकम। Hello, namaste and welcome everybody in our family reunion of every Friday of UHV Student Induction Program Module 2, Holistic Human Health, where every Friday we gather here and have discuss and talk about how to remain healthy, how to remain fit, and how our healthy lifestyle would be. So today we have our near and dear and Mr. Person and co-explorer Samla Didi with us. Ji, namaste Samla Didi, welcome.
जी नमस्ते भैया।
Namaste, namaste. So Didi, what we are going to discuss today?
I was thinking we can do intake.
Ji, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
welcome Didi, over to you. Namaste.
जी. So welcome everybody to this health session. Friday evening is, I'm happy to see, reserved for health. So all of us gather and talk about something related to health. And I think it is significant that it is significant enough that it needs to be brought into education, into school education, into college education, because we find that a lot of times we are not aware of what to do to stay healthy. Today we tend to rush to the doctor for every small fever, every small cold cough. We need not do that. If we understand the body and its needs and what keeps it in harmony, then many a thing we can keep in check just by watching what we take in, what is our routine, and so forth. So you're probably all familiar with this program for health, which we talk about in the UHV2 and even UHV1, I think. So for staying healthy, one of the important things is intake. Intake doesn't just mean taking in food. Intake includes air, water, sunlight. Food, of course, is there. And in fact, everything that you're taking in through the five senses of the body while you're eating, that is all going in as your intake. Not only while eating, all the time, which we may not be aware of. Of course, there's the routine, the lifestyle, what time you wake up, what time you go to sleep, what time you go to the bathroom, what time you eat, and so on. And that has a lot of significance. I think I've discussed it a couple of times when I've come on the session. If there are any particular questions, we can take those also. But I thought something should be there in the agenda, so I thought of doing intake. Then there's labor. Labor means working with nature. So the body is designed in such a way that it's not meant to be just sitting here, sitting there, like we are doing today. The body is meant to be used. There needs to be some activity in the body. Otherwise, there's going to be a problem. There's going to be disharmony in the body. If we are aware of that, we will remain active. There is this book called Ikigai, which became a bestseller. Many of you may have heard of it. The authors have documented people who live long lives, and they have found that in Japan, in Okinawa, there are the maximum number of old people above 100 who are living above 100. So they decided to explore, find out what is it that keeps these people, sort of healthy and still going above 100. So when they inquired into it, few things came to light. One very significant thing was that all these people tend to wake up early in the morning. Another significant thing was they all seem to have a purpose. They're not just living life, they are all finding something useful to do, something in which they are involved. There is a purpose for them. Another important thing they found was these people are all highly active. They're not sleeping in the daytime. Most of the time, they're very busy, even though they are 100 plus, and they're still active and busy. They meet each other socially. They have social internetworks, interconnectedness. They don't live isolated lives. And of course, they eat small quantities. They don't eat a huge amount. So if you see some of these things, this is what is being said here. Intake, routine, labor. If you do this much, it can pretty much keep the body healthy. Then if we are, if we need to, we can add on other exercise. We can add on postures like for yoga. We can add on breath regulation like in pranayama. And that can go to the next level to keep the body healthy in case if we run into problem. Beyond that, if we need, we can take the help of some household herbs. You can take the help of even medication. And surgery, or something that is being done in order to kind of a dependence of the body on something for the functioning to go on, that is being referred to as a treatment. I would say that is hardly a good option. That would be only a last resort where you're just managing somehow. It can't really be classified as health, I would say. So with this, we were talking about intake, or we thought of talking about intake. Or if you have any particular questions right now, before we get into it, you can raise your hand. We can take your questions also. Or we'll directly jump into the intake part if there are no questions. Yes, Chandrasekhar ji, do you want to say something?
Madam, namaste.
Namaste.
Madam, as far as your concern is taken, you are telling that the food, water, and sleeping times, these are the reasons for ill health. But as far as mental cause is also the main reason. Mental tension, mental reasons, that is tension, anger, hatred, and within the body, these are also contribute more to the ill health. That is my opinion.
What is it?
That is my opinion. That is the stress, tension, anger. These are
Certainly. Right now we are talking of the body, no?
Okay, madam.
Right now we are talking of the body.
Okay.
Certainly, what you are mentioning is very important.
Yes, madam. That those are the inside the factors inside the body, and those are more affecting the ill health of a human being.
Certainly, certainly.
Yes, madam.
See,
Yes, madam.
the
Madam.
mind means we are talking about the self, isn't it?
Ma.
Right now we are talking of the body. If you look
Okay,
at
madam.
health, health in the
Okay.
human being,
Yes, madam.
there are 3 different dimensions. One
Ma.
is the health of the self. That is prime. Because without that, how will you take care of the body? Isn't it? If you are healthy, you have a feeling of self-regulation. So you take responsibility for the body. If the self is only not healthy,
Yes,
if the
madam.
self is unhappy, if the self is not is under stress and so on and so forth,
Yes,
it can't take responsibility for the body. So then
Body,
all of this falls apart. Then this is nowhere.
Yes, madam. That is what
Isn't
I.
it? Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
So,
Thank
but
you.
because we are right now talking about the body, so we are not talking about that as of now. There is also a third dimension. See, one is health of the self. Then there is health of the body, which we are talking about now.
Okay, madam.
And then there is health of the environment.
Yes.
So 3 things are there.
Okay. Okay, madam.
Yeah.
Okay, madam. Thank you.
Okay.
I will. Yes, we will interact afterwards also, madam.
Yes.
Thank you. Namaste.
Okay. Namaste. Krupa Sindhuji, you wanted to say something? Okay. Deepa Lakshmi ji. You can unmute and speak. Deepa Lakshmi ji.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening.
Ma'am, I have one doubt.
Yes.
You said about whatever the intake we have to take resin quantity so that we can stay so healthy. Yes, ma'am. So in that case, what quantum we can take to make ourselves so healthy? And so we have to fit towards our mental, as what sir said, we want to fit our everything in a mental way also. So what intake we can take, ma'am, the quantity of intake we can take, so that by what time we can take those intakes so that we can stay healthy physically and also mentally.
So you want a pill, quick pill answer to everything. That will not be possible. Because as human beings, even though we have similarity in the self,
yes, ma'am,
at one level, if you look at the body, the body is not the same for everybody.
Yes, ma'am.
Right?
Yes, ma'am.
There is a child, the child's requirement is different.
Yes, ma'am.
The child is growing, tissues are growing, they require more protein. An adult, the growing phase is over, protein requirement comes down.
Okay.
Isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Elderly, again different.
Yes, ma'am.
Isn't it? What time of day it is, what time of night it is.
Okay, ma'am.
What kind of food you take will be different. So many factors are involved. We cannot do like a crash course, one pill and
Not like that, ma'am. What time of intake is advisable for the middle-aged people? I'm just asking, ma'am. That's what.
yeah, we'll come to it, no? That's
Yes,
what I
ma'am.
said. We'll be
Okay.
talking about intake now. We'll
Yes,
come
ma'am.
to it.
Yes. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
And you are so clear in explaining, ma'am. Happy to be in the group. And once again, thank you so much for giving an opportunity to unmute myself and can express my question. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Ruby Chatwal ji.
Ji Didi, namaste.
Namaste.
Nice to hear you here in holistic health. आप हाँ जी दीदी मुझे है ना थोड़ा क्लैरिफिकेशन इसमें चाहिए था आउट लेबर इज प्रोडक्शन ऑफ फिजिकल फैसिलिटी एंड नो फिजिकल फैसिलिटी इज प्रोड्यूस्ड बाय एक्सरसाइज दोनों में
What? Say it again.
आउटकम ऑफ लेबर इज प्रोडक्शन ऑफ फिजिकल फैसिलिटी
What of labor?
लेबर
हाँ.
आउटकम ऑफ लेबर
हाँ.
is production of physical facility and other is no physical facility is produced by exercise.
हाँ.
थोड़ा दोनों में अंतर चाहिए था क्या क्लैरिफिकेशन?
अच्छा.
जी
See, when you work with nature,
हाँ जी
so say I plant a tree.
हाँ जी
Hmm?
जी
Or why to wait for tree? Tree will take long time to grow. You plant a tomato plant. Today, you put the seeds in the soil. Or you put spinach seeds in the soil, palak.
जी जी
Hmm? Within a few days, you will see the leaf come up.
हाँ जी
है ना?
जी
Now, if you planted enough, you can use that to eat, isn't it?
हाँ जी
So you worked with nature, you did labor,
हाँ
you were physically active doing the labor. So there was activity in the body. So it was good for the body. At the same time, you're also producing this physical facility which you can use, you can utilize.
right
Isn't it? Same is true of
हाँ जी
fruit trees, other plants, so many things that we work with, all the things we grow in the soil.
हाँ जी
It is leading to some physical facility. But if you are looking at exercise, you go to the gym,
हाँ जी
you get on to the bicycle, whatever that
Hanji.
thing, and you keep
Yes.
going.
Mhm.
Where are you going? You're not going anywhere. No, you're there only.
there only
So there is activity of the body, but no physical facility is produced in that.
yes
That's all.
yes
Is that clear?
जी दीदी thank you so much God bless
जी.
giving me clarification and opportunity to speak.
जी.
क्या होता है दीदी सवेरे ना 5 बजे वाले में 5:30 बजे वाले में बोल नहीं सकते इतना
क्यों?
साइलेंट और इतना अच्छा होता है ना मौसम और सब कल्चर कहने की इच्छा नहीं होती है सुनने की इच्छा होती है इतनी स्वीट वॉइस में इतने अच्छे से समझाते हैं आप और डिस्टर्ब करने का मन नहीं करता आपको
अरे नहीं, you're supposed to disturb, you're supposed
नहीं,
to
जी
not
इतनी
disturb
प्यारी
also, I
आवाज
will say.
स्वीट
It is
वॉइस
good to
मैं तो
get
सुनते रहती
questions.
हूँ बस जी जी
Yes. Okay, we'll go ahead. There's a lot of background noise where I am, but just bear with it, please. So intake involves not just food, water, air, sunlight, and everything that you're taking in through the 5 senses. Right now, there is some lot of sound in the background somewhere outside. So that is going to be a part of it. So if you look at food, intake of food. Now, how do we make our food choices? If we see, you're all probably familiar with this diagram that we share in the UHV workshops. So this is in the self, right? Now, our activities within the self, our desire within the self is being motivated by one of three sources. Either it is coming from preconditioning, what is our belief, what we have heard, what we have experienced in the past, or it is coming through sensation, or it is coming through natural acceptance, through our intention. So these are the three sources. Now, before you take in anything, a lot of activity goes on within you, right? To decide what to eat. Abhi, the question came, what we should eat. So this is like a question that we keep looking at every now and then within us. Now, one should be clear how we are making our food choices. One can be preconditioning. When I grew up, it was the routine in the house that we must eat fruit every morning. So that became my choice, food choice. So I started having fruit in the morning. That is a preconditioning. It also happens to be good for the body. So it's a good thing. But there may be many preconditionings that I am getting influenced by my choice of food, my desire for the food. And that may not be good for the body. So how do I know what is right, what is not right? I need to evaluate my food choices, isn't it? I'll come to that in a moment. Similarly, some of our choices may be based on sensation. I'm going to the market, I'm walking past the shop, and I get this whiff of samosas being fried in the kadhai. So I think, okay, let's stop and have a samosa. Now I have made a food choice on the basis of sensation. I smelt that item and it reminded me of the taste of what I had had, the samosa I had had before. That taste is in me. So I select that taste and I make that food choice. And I say, okay, let me stop and have one samosa now. That would be an example of food choice made on the basis of sensation. Then there is a third kind of choice that we can make, that is based on our natural acceptance. Natural acceptance, that we are all familiar with that capacity within us which we can refer so that we can make the right choices. Natural acceptance has to do with our purpose, why we eat what we eat. So when we refer to a natural acceptance, we can ask the question, why are we eating? Do we want to nurture the body with the food we are eating, or do we want to harm the body? Simple question. And you can get the answer very quickly to this, isn't it? Can you reply in the chat? I would also encourage the people on YouTube also to respond, and maybe Parikshit Bhaiya, from time to time you can look at the response on YouTube and let me know. Yes, we want to nurture the body. That is very clear. Now you're getting this answer from your natural acceptance, isn't it? So now, suppose you grew up in a place where, the traditional, maybe not in your family, but the tradition in that place was to have fried kachori and jalebi in the morning for breakfast. So everybody has that. So everybody says, you also have that because that is our tradition in this culture. We have it like this only. In this state, in this town, this is the breakfast we all have. So you also have this. So this is preconditioning, right? Everybody is saying this only we have, so we also have this. Now, if you check with your natural acceptance, is this food going to nurture the body or is it going to harm the body? That question, if we keep asking everywhere, we make the right food choices. So occasionally we will not make the right food choices. We can see that. But at least let us be aware of the choices that we are making. Right? Like for instance, somebody likes to have tea. They are very fond of tea. But it is causing acidity, some disharmony in the body. You can see that it is not nurturing for the body. But you want to have it, something hot at that time. Now your natural acceptance is to have something that is nurturing for the body. You can convert this food choice into a warm drink which is more nurturing for the body. So instead of tea, you could make it herbal tea, you could make it ginger tea, you could make it a kadha, which can be very, very delicious. So like that. Anyway, we'll go ahead. Yes, this is the same thing that I was talking about. So how do we make our food choices now? It should be, if you look at food, food needs to be nurturing for the body. So it should be nutritious for the body. It should be digestible. Your digestion changes with age, physical activity, and so on. If you're running a marathon every day, obviously you need different kind of food. If you're a sedentary kind of person, you are hardly doing any exercise, you need food that body can digest. If you're an older person, your digestion is likely to be weak. You need food which is light, easy to digest, and so on. It should also be excretable. This is a point which we often overlook. Today, whatever food you're getting in the name of atta, right, ground wheat flour, many a time what you're getting is close to maida, hardly any fiber. It is being finely ground, the husk is removed, all of that. So just because it comes in a nice package doesn't mean it's nutritious for the body. Just make sure, be aware that what you're eating has fiber also. Because your intestines are 22 to 26 feet long. If you compare to your height, you will have an idea of how long that is for intestines. They're all twisted and curled up inside. So we don't realize how long they are. But 22 to 26 feet long. Some can have even 30 feet long intestines. How long do you think it will take for food to go down, these intestines? It will depend on the kind of food you eat. So if you're eating fruit, it will go down in 6 to 8 hours, sometimes even earlier, maybe 4 hours. If you're eating, that is fruit in the natural form. If you're eating cooked food, cooked vegetables, it may take more like 12 hours to go down. 12 to 24 hours. If you're taking grain, that will take closer to 24 hours. Sometimes more, depending on this part, the excretable, how much fiber it has. So if you're eating maida, it's not going to come out anytime soon. It will not go down, it will get stuck to the intestines. Women who are doing the atta at home, if you knead the dough and it is sticking to your container, it is likely to stick inside also. So be aware of what you're having. Of course, fruits and vegetables have a lot of fiber. So those are good choices. And in fact, for a middle age, that question came up, what to have, how to have. So these things have been listed here: grains, pulses, fruit, vegetables, milk and milk products, nuts, oils, sweeteners, non-vegetarian foods. This is just, I've put these down just so that we can talk about them a little bit. Of course, we won't be able to cover all of this today, but whatever we can cover, we'll try to do that. So if you look at grains, so examples of grains are like wheat, rice, millets, quinoa, you know, all these kind of things. Pulses are like your dals. So the green moong dal, the black one urad dal, the red one masoor dal, and so on. The chana, the rajma, all of these will come under pulses. These are very rich in protein. The grains, some of the grains have carbohydrate, but some of the grains also have protein. Like wheat has protein, rice has mostly carbohydrate. Then you have fruits and vegetables, which have lots of minerals, vitamins, lot of fiber. And because you're eating fruit in the natural raw form, you're getting the maximum goodness out of it. As opposed to when you cook something. When you cook also, if you're cooking at high heat, much of your nutrition is already lost. Then you're eating only for taste. Not much will be left. Right? So I'm just giving a brief overview. Milk and milk products. I don't know if you're aware of A2 milk and A1 milk. Preferable to take A2 milk. A2 milk is the term that is referred to for the milk of indigenous breeds of cows. So whether it be the Indian, say the Gir cow, the Sahiwal, some of these indigenous breeds, the Desi cow, or the Swiss brown, some of those breeds which have not been mixed or, kind of the pure breeds, what we call. So the milk from that is healthy for the body. The other milk that is available today in the Jersey cow, that is not so good. That has been linked with atherosclerosis, heart disease, and all of those things. Nuts are good in small quantity. A very good practice is to soak nuts like almonds overnight, say five, 6 almonds, and have them the next morning. Why should you soak them? It makes them easier to digest, as opposed to when they are dry and unsoaked. Soaking changes the constitution, you can say, or how it behaves in the body. So soaking makes it become enlivened, you can say, that fruit. So now that food becomes more useful, more bioavailable to the body. Oils, not all oils are bad. Some oil is required by the body. What kind of oil should you take? Those that are naturally processed. So cold pressed oils. So whether you use mustard oil, groundnut oil, sunflower oil, coconut oil, doesn't matter. These are all healthy choices, provided you are using cold pressed oil. Same thing if you are using refined oil, now there's an issue. Because in that process of so-called refining, much of the damage happens to the oil and it loses its goodness. So if you are, most refining processes are either adding some chemicals or they're using high heat to process. So then it destroys the actual goodness in the oil, the vitamins and the things that you could have actually, the body could have used, those are mostly gone. And in fact, it becomes harmful. I must mention here that ghee is a very good option. Ghee of A2 milk. That also, if you, the correct way of making it is to make curd out of the milk, then from that curd to take out the butter, and then to heat the butter and make the ghee out of it. That is the process. If you follow this process, that is going to be most useful for the body. Sweeteners, sweets also, it's not that you have to totally avoid every single, not a grain of sweet should be there. There are many natural sweeteners you can use. So you can use gur, right? Jaggery. You can use dates. You can use figs. You can use raisins. So many choices of natural sugars. But when you process this same jaggery and you make it into white sugar, now much of the goodness is gone. What is left is only empty calories. Not a good choice. Non-vegetarian foods, it's not to do with some, I'm not even talking from any other perspective except for the perspective of health. Vegetarian foods are healthier for the body. Why? Because if you look at the body, the way the body is made, it is, if you look at herbivorous animals, you will find the similarity in the intestinal tract of the human being with that of the herbivores. So the human body is designed for vegetarian foods. I don't want to go into it, but there is a very good article by one Dr. Milton T. Mills. If you're interested, you can look it up. That article is there, and there are many, I think, videos also. There is a whole list of things he lists out. He has done some research into it. There is also a very good documentary movie called Forks Over Knives, where these two doctors have gotten together and they have done a study where people who had problems like high blood pressure, diabetes, and so many other issues, they put them on a plant-based diet, 100% plant-based diet. And they took their parameters before the study and every week as the study was going on. And all their numbers started dropping, and they, the blood pressures came to normal, the blood sugars came to normal, and so on. And they have documented all that. So that is another good movie to see, Forks Over Knives. So this is something in brief about it. When you're talking of grains and pulses, include a variety. Don't get stuck to one grain or one kind of dal. Try to have different types, because this way, if you look at it even logically, you will see that some things have more protein, some things have more vitamin this, something has more vitamin that. Now if you're eating a variety, you're likely to get everything in balance. But if you're eating only one type of grain or only one type of pulse, then you're likely to be deficient in something and have excess of something else, and so on. So include a variety of foods, preferably whole grains and pulses. So if you're eating white rice, try brown rice instead. If you're eating that fine atta of wheat, try cracked wheat instead, the dalia, which is a coarser form, which will do your digestion a whole lot better. It will be more good for the body. If you're eating, say, washed moong dal, switch to moong dal with the covering, the green one, as opposed to the yellow washed moong dal. Have the green moong dal with the cover. So like that, these will have more nutrition also, more fiber also. So anything that you're eating, try to ask yourself this question. Is it nutritious? Is it digestible? Is it excretable? Is it compatible? Is it tasty? Well, tasty, so we need not ask the question. I think that comes pretty much all the time. Nutrition, if you look at whole grains, like I mentioned, if you're talking of wheat, that which is coarsely ground. If you're talking of rice, that which is unpolished or hand pounded, natural kind of process where it retains the vitamins and minerals in it. What about when you process it? So you have the finer and finer, longer grain, white, pure white, basmati rice and all of that. It may taste nice to you, but nutritionally, the brown rice is far superior. Digestibility, if you look at, then, whole grains are good choices. Millets are also good choices, but you have to see whether you can digest it. So you can mix the grains also. So supposing you have rice and you put a little bit of bajra or ragi or some of these, millets in it, then you can have the goodness of the millet also, and you can have the rice also. But if you're having only the millet, like if you're having only bajra, it may be a little bit difficult for you to digest unless you're doing some good amount of physical activity. So that you have to consider a little bit. Again, for the excretable part, whole grains are fiber rich. What about processed grains? No fiber. Generally, you will find very little or no fiber in the processed grains. So not a good choice because it won't come out of your system. What is wrong if it doesn't come out of the system? You know how we spoke of, it has to go through 22 to 26 feet of length of the intestine before it can come out. Now, if it doesn't have any fiber, it gets stuck in the middle. It doesn't go down smoothly. If there is fiber pushes it down. But if there is no fiber, it is going to get stuck to the walls of the intestines. And then the blood that is circulating there will take it back into the circulation. So something that is rotting inside, it doesn't come out in a timely fashion. Obviously, it is going to harm the body. So therefore, you have problems. Ultimately, high blood pressure, diabetes, all of these are linked together. That's why they're called lifestyle problems. You can easily correct them by having the right intake and the right routine with some exercise and all. Then if we look at compatibility, the food should be in accordance with the season. So if you are having, say we were talking of bajra. Now bajra, the quality of bajra is that it is heating for the body. So in peak summer, if you eat bajra, oh, it's whole grain, it's very good for the body, all that. But in the summer, it's not good for the body because it's going to increase the heat in the body. Same bajra will be very good in the winter because it is heating for the body and the body needs extra heat. It's cold outside. So like that. In the summer, a better grain to go with would be ragi. It's cooling for the body and so on. Age, compatibility in relation to age. So if somebody is a young teenager, they're doing a lot of activity, they can digest a lot of food, lot of protein, they can have a lot of sprouts. Very good. But if in middle age and beyond, if we think, okay, sprouts are very healthy, let me have a lot of sprouts, not a good option. Firstly, it is going to be very high in protein. Secondly, it's going to be difficult to digest. Being raw, it's going to be difficult to digest, even though it will provide a lot of energy, calories, all that, and it will be it's actually very good for the body. But if you are not able to digest it, then you're just putting it in your mouth and it's going in. But you cannot make your body digest it. If you are a certain age, your digestion is weaker. So what you can do is you can have very few sprouts and mix them with other foods, other salads, and have. If you're cooking the sprouts, then you might as well not sprout them, because then no use. Like people sprout dals and things, but then they mix them with onions and tomatoes and things and cook them. Now, even the moment you cook it, even for not even a minute, the goodness of the sprout is gone. Then you're just having whatever fiber and all. So if you must have sprout, have in limited quantity, very little quantity, especially in middle age. If you're young, doing a lot of activity, you can have easily a fistful of sprouts in a day. That much is sufficient for the average young person. And incidentally, in sprouts, as you get older, you want to switch from sprouts made from dals to sprouts made from grains or other kind of food. So you have alfalfa seeds, you have methi seeds, vegetable kind of seeds. From that you can make sprouts, and they can be very good for the body. Coming to the quantity of how much we eat has to be in accordance with the age, the digestibility, the physical activity. So if you look at age, when you were young, you could probably eat lots of chapatis. But when you are in your middle age, you may be liking the taste, and there may be times when you find the food very tasty and you overeat. But your body can only digest a limited quantity. So you will be the best judge of that based on your kind of physical activity, your kind of lifestyle. So you will get an idea that if you should be hungry for your next meal. If you're not hungry for your next meal, that means you probably overate or you don't need another meal. So you can see these things for yourself. You don't need somebody to tell you this, but you'll be able to see it, that one sign of good health is you're hungry for your meal. If you're not hungry and you eat, you're going to run into a problem 100%, because if you're not hungry and you put food in, now the food is not going to get digested. If digestion doesn't happen properly, there will be gas formation. You will feel bloated. If you are having bloating and now this wind is obstructing the passages, you will end up having constipation or something. And that cycle, it becomes a vicious cycle. The gas, the bloating, the constipation, and if you still eat, then you will have acidity also. So that cycle, if you're seeing anything in that, that means just step back and cut down. Very often you will find that if you skip the meal, but you have fruit instead, you will feel calm, you will feel more comfortable. Because now what has happened is this food tends to go down quickly. So it will push things along with the fiber. It will move things out of the stomach and the intestines and down the intestines. So you will not feel as full. So these kind of signs we can link to, we can see for ourselves. So I think we can take some questions. Maybe I'm going on and I'm not sure if people are understanding or what is happening. So if you have questions, you can raise your hand, or you can just answer in the chat if you think that you're able to follow. But if there are questions, better to raise the hand so that we can talk about it. Actually, I'm finding it a little tough to.
There is one question, Didi, in the chat box. If you want, I can read for you.
Yes, please.
Ranjit Bhaskaran Bhaiya is asking, ma'am, today's younger generation is more fond of to junk foods, especially aerated drinks and some fast food like noodles, etc. for their lunch. How can we make them aware to avoid these choices? That was the Ranjit Bhaiya's question.
Yeah, see, first and foremost, if we have a judgmental attitude like this, we can't help anybody else change. The young generation is like this. Who has made the young generation like this? We have, isn't it? So it's not just the young generation who's responsible for that. We are. Because we have created all this fast food for them. When we were growing up, it was not so affordable, and people used to eat generally home food. Eating outside food was a once in a blue moon affair. Now things are easily affordable. The children are seeing this. Both sides, parents are working. Things are not there to their liking at home. All this is linked. So certainly, that awareness, if children also have of why it is significant, why it is important, they will make that effort. And today many students, youngsters are becoming aware of this, the need of the body for food that is nutritious. So fast food doesn't necessarily mean it has to be junk. Many things you can eat fast. A salad can be prepared very quickly, and it need not, it's very healthy for the body. Fruit doesn't take any time to prepare. Just pick up a fruit and eat it. It's very healthy for the body. That is also fast. But we need not have junk. So for a child or a student to understand this is why it is important to introduce health as a subject in schools, colleges, so that when it is taught as a subject, people can see that, what kind of damage we are doing to our body. And when you are young, you don't see the consequences because the body is fresh, the body is able to bear a lot. As you get older, the telltale signs are visible in the form of all these kind of so-called lifestyle disorders. In fact, if you see even among youth now, we are seeing high blood pressure, we are seeing heart disease in 30-year-olds. So it's not so far off. I think we all need to be aware, including the children. Awareness is key. So if we tell them, you're eating this nonsense, this is going to harm your body, nobody will listen. But if we just explain to them why and leave the choice to them, I think they will make the right choice. Ask them to refer to their natural acceptance. See, this thing may be not so good for the body, but you decide. You're grown up, you can decide when they are teenagers and stuff. Of course, if they are smaller children, then also you can tell them. And I can tell you that even if you say to a 2-year-old or a 3-year-old, this thing will be bad for your body. This thing is actually going to be very healthy for you. You decide. 90% of the time or more, the child will decide, make the right choice. But we don't give the child that choice to make. We decide for the child, and we, are not able to ensure our own feeling. So we shout at the child, and the child resents it. Now the child will not eat that thing in your presence, but the moment your back is turned, the child will do exactly that, what you said not to do. So that's not the answer. The answer is to give them the freedom of choice with that awareness of why it is important, and leave the choice to them. They will make the right choice. We need to be confident about that. If we, are able to send the message properly to the child, they will make the right choice. This is how I would look at it. Yes.
Yes, Didi, there are couple of hands, right? Can we
Yes.
take them?
Yes.
JVS Gupta ji is there. Bhaiya, you can put your question. Your mic is unmuted.
Okay. Can I speak to
Yes.
JVS Gupta here?
Yes, yes, Bhaiya.
Yeah. Just now she gave information that sprouts can be taken. No problem about that. But what kind of sprouts we should eat depends on the age. So once you are above 70 years, what type of sprouts we can take? That is my question. I have put in the chat box also. She differentiated sprouts in two categories. So I would like to know what category is suitable for me above 70.
Yeah, above 70, I would say very little of sprouts. Very small, like a teaspoon.
Okay.
And you can do like, methi seeds. You can sprout those. Alfalfa seeds, those are very healthy. And mix them with, say, some other salad or whatever you might be having. And don't have them in the evening when your digestion activity is low. Anybody's digestion will be at its maximum in the midday when the sun is overhead. So that's a good time to have, or in the morning. But generally morning fruit is probably the best cleansing for the body. But morning also okay, or you can have in the afternoon with a salad or something. But one thing to keep in mind is that at that age, the digestion is weak. So don't mix cooked and uncooked foods, because then there will be a problem with the digestion. It will not happen properly. So you need to have a gap of at least half to 1 hour between cooked and uncooked. So if you're having, like a teaspoon of sprouts with your salad, it's fine. But if you're having cooked food, then you need a gap. Okay.
What is that? You said methi seeds you can use, and alpha you said, what is that?
Alfalfa. You'll find it maybe in organic stores and all. You'll find alfalfa seeds.
Okay.
Those you can sprout.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes. Chandrasekhar Bogle ji. Did you want to say something?
Hi, madam. Good evening, madam. Good evening, madam.
Yes.
Is it possible to get rid of from the sugar without medicines, madam?
Yes. Why not? Diabetes, you're saying?
Yeah.
Yes, certainly. How severe is the diabetes?
My fasting is 135 or 265 is PP.
You are taking some medication?
No, not yet. I diagnosed 2 months before.
So you do some physical activity. Walking is good. If
How many minutes?
If you're taking processed, walk for about half an hour a day.
Twice?
Huh?
Morning and evening, twice half an hour, or in a day half
Well,
an hour.
morning and evening is good, but at least once a day. And
Yeah.
you'll have to make some changes in your diet. Make sure that you are eating whole grains, lots of fruits and vegetables. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
Then you will be, and processed foods cut down completely. Artificial sweeteners cut down completely.
Okay.
In place of white sugar, you can have jaggery, you can have dates, you can have raisins, figs. You'll be fine then. Just
Jaggery
watch
I
your
can have, madam?
sugar, you will see the difference.
Jaggery can I have?
Yes, you can have.
Oh.
Again, in jaggery, look for the dark brown jaggery. They
Oh.
process it so much that it's almost like, very highly processed ones are more light in color. Look for the dark brown one. That
Okay,
is
madam.
less processed.
Okay. Within how many days it may take to reduce if we with this?
You will have to live like this. If
Okay.
you may take a month to reduce it to normal, but then if you switch your diet back to the what you are having, then again it will shoot up.
Okay,
So
madam.
make it your lifestyle.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome. Minushree ji.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Actually, ma'am, I want to know, I'm suffering from thyroid and high BP.
Yeah, see, I didn't want to discuss this as something to do like treatment kind of, or
No,
this thing.
I'm worried that I get craving for sweets most of the time, but I am not having diabetes. So I try
Just
salads
keep,
and all.
for any ailment, what we were discussing earlier, I'll just go back to that a moment. This, for staying healthy, this is your plan of action. Watch your intake, make sure your lifestyle is okay, do some labor, some physical exercise, do some yoga, pranayam, make use of natural herbs, and you will see things are improving. But you need this overall approach. There is no quick fix, like with one pill it will not happen. Even though in allopathy and so many other, people flock to doctors and go take medicines. Medicine can only do so much. Beyond that, you need to keep your lifestyle right. You need to have the right intake. You need to do some exercise. All of that is important, part of it. So that has to be brought in. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. But still, means I do all those things, yogas and all in the evening. Means we attend yoga classes after in college itself, in our university. But this craving at night is something, means I do work at late 11 o'clock and 12. After dinner, even if I have dinner at 10 and all, night I start craving
What
for
time you
this
have dinner?
10.
Very late, na?
Yeah, that is the usual
Not
time.
good. That is going to lead to high blood pressure only then. That's not the right lifestyle, isn't it?
But before, means
What
from
should be the
childhood,
routine?
that is the timing.
This is what I'm saying. See, this food choice that we made, where is it? Can you see this?
Yeah.
Preconditioning. You need to make it on the basis of natural acceptance. Do you see that?
Yes, ma'am.
This is how we keep making choices without understanding things. When we start looking at it with some understanding, you will find that you can correct it and the health will start improving. Okay. Unfortunately,
Thank you.
I'm out of time. Otherwise,
Yeah.
we could discuss it more. But You get the idea, I think.
Yes. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I think, Parikshit Bhaiya, there might be a couple of hands raised, but what do you think we should stop? No?
Certainly, but yeah, it's time also we should respect the circadian rhythm as well, and really
Yes.
a very good interaction, and we must like to continue it and hear you more and more possible. So really very interactive session, and everybody participates so interactively. So nice, and we keep on exploring all this content and all these proposals along with harmony in self as well and harmony in body. So thank you, Sumna Didi, once again, and thanks to all the participants for making it possible. Namaste, everybody. Namaste.
Thank you all.
Namaste, Sharmila.
Namaste.
Didi.
Namaste, Parikshit Bhaiya.
Namaste.
Namaste, sir.